Everyone, my name is Dr. Kirsten Fulong, and I'm here today to talk to you guys, you parents, about colic. So this video is for parents, especially new parents, because watching your baby go through colic can be so stressful, especially as a new parent. When you come into parenthood, you're all excited for all the wonderful things that come with having a baby, all the newness of it, the exciting factors, but there's so many different things that can make your baby struggle. And sometimes you're looking for answers as a parent, and this can be extremely stressful for you. So signs of colic may be that your baby isn't sleeping fully. They may get fussy in different positions that normally most babies can handle. So car seats and car rides might be like a nightmare for you. So you really can't drive anywhere with one parent being in the back seat and the other parent driving. So that's very stressful for you. And then after eating, that can create a lot of colicky behaviors for babies as well. So this is just the most common areas that we see colic in our kiddos in our practice. But overall, your baby just might seem uncomfortable in their own body. This is so sad to watch as chiropractors and as parents because babies should start life out comfortable because things only get more and more uncomfortable as you grow up if you are already not comfortable to begin with. So colic actually affects 1 in 4 kids today, which is very sad, especially when we have all these babies that should be comfortable eating, sleeping, and pooping really well, but some part of this is being affected. So usually it is sleep, and that's why parents come to us desperate because they're just exhausted. They need something to help their baby sleep. So if your baby is struggling, ultimately you are going to be struggling as a parent too, because this child is attached to you. They need you. They're relying on you right now. And so if they're not comfortable, then you're definitely not comfortable. But a lot of parents that we talk to, they'll go to their pediatrician and their pediatrician really doesn't have a lot of answers for them, and it's very frustrating for them because they want to do something for their baby. We're continuously told that they're just going to grow out of it. It's just what babies do. They cry all the time. But yes, they do cry, but a lot of babies that cry too much or are very uncomfortable, and you can just tell your mom gut or your dad gut is actually going to be telling you that there's just something more that you might be able to do for them because this isn't really normal. Babies, yes, they do cry when they need something, when they're hungry, when they have a diaper that's full, or any sort of reason for that. But if a baby is crying when all their needs are being met, then that's when it gets super frustrating for parents. So these types of parents, after they go to their pediatrician and realize, okay, there's not much I can do about this, then they go into those crunchy mom groups on Facebook and they start researching. They start looking into alternative things. They learn more about gut health and how that affects baby's health, gas drops, food sensitivities, all these different things that can help them sleep, and all these factors that could be contributing to their fussiness and their colickiness. So we throw all these natural solutions at it, which is really awesome, and sometimes that does really help. And we see that help all the time. But in those instances where all these natural things are not helping, now what? What do we do as parents? Why is my baby still struggling after all that, all these things I'm doing for them? So in our office, we see this struggle all the time, and we are a huge fan of all those things that do help your child holistically and naturally without strong interventions, because we need to get through these things like colic so that our babies are more comfortable. But once parents have tried everything, their baby is still struggling, they will often bring them to us because usually we're the last resort, unfortunately. So when baby milestones and childhood development and unlocking the neurology aspect is what they're looking for, that is what we specialize in. So we unlock the neurology and that root issue nervous system wise behind why your child is colicky. So once you've eliminated all the food sensitivity testing, all the gluten and the dairy and the processed foods and the packages and the food dyes, and your baby is still struggling, there's got to be something else that we have to look into. So I'm going to talk to you about that today. So let's dive into that. What causes colic? So colic is typically associated with an upset tummy, gassiness, general discomfort. You can just tell as a parent when your child is not doing well. So once you understand the foundational root cause of colic, this can help address this issue at a root level so that your baby can thrive and do the 3 things that they need to do, which is eat, sleep, and poop really, really well. That's all they need to do in the beginning, because that is so important. Those are the foundational components of building blocks for our health in the future. And so if they're not doing these things really well, then that's going to affect their health later on. If they have poor plumbing, if they're not pooping and eliminating their toxins frequently, that's going to be an issue. If they're not sleeping well, their body's not getting into a healing, resting state so they can grow and develop properly, that's also going to affect their health as well. And then if they're not eating well, that's the most important factor too. When they're not getting enough nutrients in, or if they're underweight, then moms are definitely seeing their pediatrician for that issue. So those ones are typically dealt with pretty quickly, but the more underlying things that they don't need to survive necessarily is the sleeping and the pooping, because we see a lot of kids where they're not pooping frequently, they're not sleeping well, and parents are just told, yeah, it's just part of life. That's being a parent and raising your baby, and it just happens sometimes. It's just unlucky, I guess. So we like to look a little bit deeper and see why this child is struggling a little bit more than other babies. So you're probably thinking, why would a baby have stress in their nervous system? Like, what is stressing them out? Us adults, we get a lot of stressors, like paying the bills and making sure we're at work on time and not missing enough work and all these different things, taking care of our kids. We experience stress, and that's pretty obvious, and how we experience stress is very obvious to us. But for babies, this is a little bit different. So what we look at in our office is referred to as the autonomic nervous system, or what we like to call the automatic nervous system, that controls that sleeping, that pooping, that digestion, and the immune system function, all these different functions of your body that are automatic. So you're not thinking about these things throughout your day. You're not saying, oh, okay, I gotta digest now. You are automatically doing that because your body knows exactly what to do when it encounters different things. So our autonomic nervous system is the key factor here. That's the key difference, and that's what we look at as pediatric neurologically focused chiropractors. So these things happen naturally, or they should happen naturally. If you're not pooping well, or if you're not sleeping well, all these things that you should be doing without thinking about it, then there's some red flags and some issues that we have to dive deeper into. So we look at the autonomic nervous system, and we measure that in our office objectively. So we look at where your body's holding that stress. So when it comes to babies, that is what a neurothermal scan looks like. So I'm going to show you an example of that. But essentially, this is a very gentle, non-invasive scan that just picks up surface heat along the spine, which is what controls and protects your autonomic nervous system, your central nervous system. So we measure where that nervous system is working extra hard or shut down. So in this case, when they're babies, typically it's usually working extra hard and it's just stressed out in that area. So that's interrupting that nerve flow and that communication, that vital communication that your brain is sending to the rest of the functions of the body. So I'm going to show you what our neurothermal scan looks like for a baby. And obviously the man on here is not a baby, but this is just how it shows up on our scan. But what you're seeing here is some areas where we're seeing some red, some green, some blue, and then a little bit of white down here. So I'm going to explain what those mean. So essentially we have 3 different colors that we look at in our office. We have red, which is more significant inflammation in the body, blue, which is moderate inflammation, and green, which is mild. The white is completely normal, healthy body heat. So once that machine picks up more than normal body heat, it's going to pick that up as stress to the nervous system in a certain area of the spine, which is affecting those functions of the organ systems that are linked to that area of the spine. So we have this fancy little neuro fuse box chart that connects all the different functions of the body to where that links to in the spine, because that's where all that communication goes to different areas of the body. So with babies with colic, the pattern that we typically see is in the neck area right up here, where there's stacked red bars of inflammation that are actually creating more distress in the areas. And this is very common with babies because during the birth process, we're seeing a ton of stress being put on that head and that neck area as baby comes out. And so this even happens with a normal, natural delivery because babies have to get through a tiny little birth canal, which is a very stressful process for both mom and baby. But even the low stress births with little to no interventions still have quite a bit of stress on that little head and neck as it exits through the birth canal. So that's why we as pediatric chiropractors are really checking this area in depth and in detail, because this is where a lot of issues with the vagus nerve, which is a nerve that controls digestion and immune function and gut health and mood and behavior and sleep, all these functions stem from up here. And so when we see a lot of stress and inflammation up here, that baby is going to be colicky, no doubt. We see a strong correlation with that scan and the baby that has those certain behaviors. So that baby that's not comfortable, that screams in the car seat, won't sleep, just is put down for like 1 hour and has to wake up again, waking up frequently and just fussy and gassy, all these different things that parents are not really given any answers for. So this is why we take this scan in our office, because we want to uncover why all these other holistic interventions aren't working for that baby. So while all those are amazing, and sometimes that might be the root cause for the baby, we tend to see that it all starts from that birth process and that first stress on that tiny baby's head and neck that can create dysfunction in that area, that creates dysfunction in the rest of the body because of it. So in our office, it is not like other chiropractic offices where there's popping and cracking, especially with babies and tiny children. We are not doing that. We're actually assessing their nervous system very gently with low force. We're not doing anything that could harm the baby. We have specifically trained tools as pediatric chiropractors and extra training so that we can assess this in a very gentle way. So when you come and see our office, when you see our videos, you'll see that our technique with babies is super gentle, and most babies actually end up sleeping right through it. So a lot of people, when they come to us and they're asking for chiropractors in their area or any referrals, we make sure that we find someone that is pediatric certified and nervous system focused, because not every chiropractor takes these scans either. So we want to make sure that the person that's taking care of these kids for more of these nervous system dysfunction issues is neurologically focused, pediatric trained, and works with a ton of kids. And you will be able to tell that as a mom as soon as you walk into an office. So if this made sense to you, if you're a new parent and your baby is struggling with this, there are answers out there. And that's what we're here for, to help you uncover the root cause of these issues for your baby. So let us know if we can help with you. You can give us a call at our office number. You can text us. You can ask us for a referral in your area if you're not local to the Sarasota area. And we can put you in the right, safe office for you and your kids that's family oriented and neurologically focused to uncover those root causes. Thank you so much.